Yeah. What you yeah. Tiptoeing in my Jordans. Kinda came down, tiptoeing.
We're coming to you from an underground bunker somewhere in Powell, Ohio. It's Basement D-Basement. I am your host, Basement. This is my co-host, D-Basement. How are you doing today, Brad?
I'm good. How are you doing today, Bill?
Oh, I'm doing great. We have a great show for you today. I'm not going to participate in it because I stayed up all night. You guys are getting this in the future. Like, it's probably like sometime like in late March, like maybe early, whatever the month
Can I
before
download this?
March. Yeah,
I feel like it's going to be a shit show.
You will be able to download this when it actually goes up.
Right.
Right now we're just on YouTube. Here in the past where we are.
In the past. Actually, today is launch day.
Today is lunch day. I'm super excited.
The first episode goes up on the internet. It just did before we started recording. So
when you're listening to this, we'll be available on iTunes. We have our own YouTube channel. We have Twitter. We have a Facebook. We'll probably have an Instagram. Yeah. We'll probably have an Instagram group.
Okay.
Yeah. I just made you an admin.
Oh, good. I haven't checked anything. I've been out of town.
So, yeah, that's all going up today. So far, it's been up for an hour and nobody cares.
Somebody will care. I'll force them. I will be pimping this shit so hard.
If it makes you feel any better, I literally once had a GoFundMe where my own family didn't give me money. So
I believe it. I'm going to introduce our guest, local storyteller and comedian, Sarah. She's with us in the basement today. How are you doing, Sarah?
Good. I'm sorry I'm fucking up at cornbread muffin.
I mean, I've been eyeing that cornbread muffin for a while. Oh my gosh. And
Michelle makes them by hand, and it's fucking delicious.
Another local chef here today, Michelle. we had a chef on last week.
We did.
And by chef,
A baker.
I mean a baker. There's a difference. Chefs will slap you.
Yeah.
We were just talking, like, before the podcast started, we were just talking about Chicago. It's like how I say that I was from Chicago, but I was from Forest Park. Like,
that's not Chicago.
Yeah, that's not Chicago. But nobody here knows. Nobody outside of Chicago knows.
No, I know. Fall Out Boy makes me super angry for doing that. They're always like, we're from Chicago. I'm like, you're from Wilmette, where they fucking filmed Home Alone.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous. Those houses are huge.
Yeah. So all of the people that were like, this is a goddamn... Like, you had a nice house.
Yeah.
You had a 2-story nice ass house.
This is a scene.
Yeah.
This is not a goddamn arms race.
Well, I mean, they, like, the only people that I claim when someone's like, oh, name some place that I always claim, like, people that are, like, old school blues, and I'll definitely claim the Smashing Pumpkins, like, everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I love
I'm like,
them.
Billy Corgan is a terrible person,
He
but
is.
Smashing Pumpkins are, like, the only thing. Like, I got mad when I watched, do you all remember when there was, like, a trend going on YouTube things of shit whoever says?
Yes.
They had a shit Chicagoan said.
Yeah.
And they had the white version, which was like north side, and then they had like the people of color one that's like south and west.
Yeah.
And I was okay with most of it, but it didn't make me slightly angry when they were like, you know, Chicago always has the best music. And he was like, Fall Out Boy. And I was like, no. And he was like, Smashing Pumpkins. Like, yeah. And he was like, Plain White Tees. I'm like, no. No. You hate their Delilah your ass away from me. Like, I will not. I'm not glorifying a song about
But really,
stalking.
though, what's it like in New York City? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. We've got some beer to review today. Sarah's almost done with hers. This is an ongoing theme in our podcast. Yeah. we always give the guest the beer beforehand to calm them down, to give them something to do while we're setting up.
I've thought about bringing a flask and just giving people shots beforehand.
I
to
think
get
that's
them
a great
sedated.
idea. I've got access to unlimited energy drinks now,
Ooh.
so if we can get a bottle of Jaeger, we can just do Jaeger bombs
my God.
for a podcast. I think that might be a Jeff podcast. I think that would be a good idea.
I feel like that's a everybody.
Brad, what are we reviewing today?
It's Jackie O's Raz Wheat.
Ooh.
Jackie O's is my favorite brewery, hands down, in Ohio or anywhere else, because I'm from southeastern Ohio, and they're from Athens, and I used to drink there before this was really, like, a big thing. My hipster ass is showing, I know.
I was there before they even knew, man.
I think we might have a title for today's episode already.
My hipster ass is showing.
All right. So, and pop. Ooh. So fizzy.
Foamy.
While we're drinking, you had
beer.
some things to say about it before we started.
It's tasty, but it takes a minute. Initially, it's really like bitter. It gets better once you get down to it. But the thing that is sad is that it's ras wheat, and there is no raspberry in this bad boy at all.
It is. Yeah, wheat.
It's just wheat and like a funky deer on the side of it. That's literally everything.
I do like the funky deer.
Yeah.
It is a pretty deer, and look at the eyelashes on the deer. Like someone is highlighting.
Oh man.
Someone is highlighting, and they've got strawberries on their hooves, like,
But not raspberries. Oh wait, no, there's some falling from the sky.
I'm gonna have to.
How
I'm gonna
drunk did
have to
someone
put this in the
me?
podcast image for next week so people can see.
Right.
Like someone got really drunk and made a deer that was covered in berries.
Like, this doesn't look like the work of a drunk person. As an artist, this looks like the work of a high person.
Yeah. I almost guarantee it.
True. If I'm drunk, yeah, I'm not drawing.
Yeah, you're not drawing that.
I will say, I'm biased, and I've had this before, and I really like it. It's better on tap.
It's better on tap. I believe. Oh, do we want glasses?
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah,
get
let's
some
do that.
glasses. Let's see. Let's
You
see
let
if
me
it
you let me
breathes.
drink out of this like a dog for the last like 20 minutes, and now I got a glass.
I was going to say something, but you were just into it, so I didn't want to be like, stop drinking that beer, Sarah. Save it for the podcast.
I've been to enough like broy hipstery parties that I just know to drink out of cans now.
Yeah, well, usually I do too, but this is... We here at the podcast are fancy and special, and Billy has nice glasses, so...
Fancy.
Nice glasses that my landlord left in my room, so we just use them. She's probably a listener, so that'll be fun.
So wait, you like were born and raised in Chicago?
No, I was born and raised in the Corn, Ohio.
Nice.
So you were talking about what Chicago has to claim. Where I has one person. We can claim Rosemary Clooney, and we pretend to claim George Clooney. But
not really.
But not really. He does come around there every once in a while. It's always a big deal.
Really?
Yeah.
I like there's so many famous people that like were born in Ohio that want
Nothing
shit to do with it.
Yeah.
Like Carmen Electra or somebody was born in Dayton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Halle Berry was in Cleveland, and
What's her name? Horseface from Sex and the City. Sarah Jessica Parker is from Nelsonville.
Ooh.
Whatchamacallit, the one that I was going to laugh is Rob D from like Rob and Big or whatever. He
Yeah.
has that show Ridiculous. He's from Dayton,
Well,
and he's like, I'm in LA. Like he's like, I want nothing to fucking do.
Like the only
No,
people
Kid
who
Cudi, he claims it.
he
does.
Yeah.
the only people who claim Ohio are presidents and astronauts.
Yeah.
Presidents, astronauts, Kid Cudi, and unfortunately Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah.
I'm a wild boy. I'm a wild boy. Sorry, has anybody heard that bullshit? It's
Yes.
hilarious.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident that like 5 black gentlemen with guns would be like, you know what? I'm not so much wild boy as I'm just misunderstood. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna leave. Like I just feel like it's a facade. It's not real.
Of course it is.
Ooh, has anybody seen Stitches before?
Stitches? What's Stitches?
Google image Stitches rapper.
Okay.
It is amazing. That's the best way I can put it. It's just what happens when I believe his heritage, because I looked at him and I was like, what? I don't even know what's happening. His heritage is Cuban and I think Greek or something like that.
Yeah.
And he decided after a while that he wanted to be a rapper and shaved the sides of his head and made like this like wild mohawk. And then he was like, you know what? That's not enough. How can I just dedicate my life to rap and nothing else? He tattooed stitches across his mouth. And he has a song called Brick in Your Face about how much he loves cocaine and selling it. And that's the whole song.
That sounds like the rapper version of vaping.
Literally, the best part of that song is at one point he just starts screaming, "I love selling blow!" And he's just throwing white powder in the air. And he recently challenged a rapper, African American rapper named The Game, and he kept calling him like horrible things that I would say if my girlfriend wasn't to left me, I'd be like, Sarah, no. But was like, I'm near your car, boy. I'm near your car, boy, because he's from Florida, so for some reason he has an exaggerated accent. And the game stepped out and he was like, you've been harassing me on Instagram for the last like hour and a half while I've been minding my business in a club. And the game is like 5'5", but his bodyguards are like 6'2". And he was like, Mug, handle that. And there's just a video of just him, of Stitches standing there, and then Mug or whoever it is just punching him in the face. Just basically destroying his life in like one swoop. Just, oh. And I'm like, oh, brick in your face. And you did not know what to do with it.
Stitches. You scamp.
Damn.
He's going to be on the upcoming movie The Suicide Squad.
He does look like he could be a cast member.
Yeah.
Only his makeup would not wash off. That's just his face now. Wait, does anybody listen to Riff Raff?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Riff Raff is
Equally terrible.
equally terrible.
I feel like a lot of this podcast is just going to be Sarah being like, does anybody listen to Brad being like, yes, and me being like, no.
I don't listen to this shady ass music. No, I don't listen to his music. I had an ex that thought his music was really funny.
It is kind of funny.
Because he has this one song called Tiptoeing in My Jordans.
Yeah.
And it's just literally him going, tiptoeing in my Jordans, all you other brothers be snoring. And someone took that and had Urkel, like, tiptoeing to it, and it was delicious. But no, he's a terrible person. He has BET and MTV's logos tattooed on his body,
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
and Bart Simpson. He was like, "These are all things that I am."
He's very white and he has red hair. And he was really scrawny, but now he's like really roided out.
So he's like the Carrot Top of rap.
Yeah, actually, very.
He briefly dated Katy Perry. That's how much the low.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much the who doesn't like themselves more contest got down to.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Katy Perry. I really feel for her
Don't
sometimes.
be
I just
that
want to
way
be
to
like,
Kate Hudson. She's trying. She tried Jesus, and that wasn't making her money.
no,
So then she just decided to steal every culture on Earth
yeah,
to help her
That's
make
what
money.
made them a great match.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
he appropriates black culture, and she's like, I appropriate all
every
the
culture.
Who am I? I might just be like
I'm Jean Benet Ramsey, apparently.
Oh my
Did you
god!
hear about that?
Yes.
What?
There's a fan theory that she's really John Benet Ramsey.
Yes.
I feel like there's a lot of fan theories that John Benet Ramsey is a lot of people.
Well, maybe.
My favorite fan theory, though, is still, and it's blowing up on the social media right now, Ted Cruz's Zodiac
Oh, of
killer.
course he is.
I'm okay with that because there's something wrong with Ted Cruz.
There is something wrong with Ted Cruz.
There's something wrong with him. Like, he has been, and I thought, people were like, well, maybe it was just that he's older and he doesn't know how to, like, settle in his own skin. But no, someone unearthed and anonymously sent Ted Cruz, like, high school, college, and he's still a jackass.
Yeah.
He's just a younger jackass.
Yeah.
Like,
They were like, what do you want to do for a living? He was like,
Ruin people's lives.
He was like world domination, money, power, that kind of thing. And I'm like,
This dude could be the next president.
yeah.
right. And
Like, that's...
he
There are
tells
so
dad
many people
jokes.
you can say that about, and
Yeah.
it just makes you feel uncomfortable every
He totally
time.
tells dad jokes in that. And he's like maybe 18 or 19, he's telling dad jokes. They
That-
were like, what's behind you? He's like, my butt. No, but seriously. And I'm like, all right, fuck you, dude.
Not gonna lie, that's probably what an interview with me at 18 sounded like.
No, but the sad part is hopefully you won't be still making those jokes at 45. Like,
Yeah.
he still makes those jokes. Have you seen where his daughter rejects him?
No.
That's so hilarious. His
Rejects
daughter,
the hug.
well, he's like, Daddy's gotta go, and he tries to like hug her. She's like, fuck it, no, fuck it. No, I already have to hug you once. Ew, fuck it. Like,
Nah.
that says a lot.
Like, Ted Cruz, it's like, you can't point to just one person for the government shutdown. We all remember the government
Yeah.
shutdown,
Yeah.
right? But you can point to one person. It was Ted Cruz. He was a huge dick about the whole thing.
Yeah. No, everybody on the Senate floor hates him.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I would be okay if it was like, because I'm really into American history for no apparent reason. It would be awesome if he was like LBJ hatred.
Yeah.
Where, like, everyone hated LBJ, but they also respected him, and
Yeah.
that's how he got things done. He also had a shit ton of dirt on everyone. He's
Yeah.
like, remember that time you teabagged that waitress and I tell nobody? Sign this bill.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz is just like, I'm an asshole. Do you want to make friends? No, I'm just going to be an asshole. That's just
I
his
have a
life.
question
What?
because I'm ignorant. Who is LBJ?
LBJ,
the
Lyndon B.
dude-
Johnson.
Okay.
He's the dude that takes over after Kennedy is shot.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Fun fact about LBJ, he had a giant dong.
And he loved talking about
He
it.
loved
Really?
talking about it. He
Loved
would
it.
just like whip it out and wag it at
It was his power move.
yeah. Like he'd just whip out his dong and be like, "Hey, sign this bill because I have a giant penis."
He also went into, you can YouTube it. I've listened to it once, like while drunk, and I was like, "This is the greatest thing I've ever heard." He called a poor man who was like responsible for tailoring his suits and talked about his dick for 8 minutes.
Oh yeah, you
He
can
was
listen
like,
to that on YouTube.
I like the pants. I like them. But they kind of hold on to my dinger. You get what I'm saying? I like it, but my dinger needs to be free. I'm walking around a lot. I'm trying to get shit done. Need my dinger to be free. Like
Did he
just
actually say dinger?
He says like he said
Yeah.
he gives it nicknames.
Yeah, no, literally,
time.
his nickname for his dong is Jumbo.
Yes,
Jumbo.
he said Jumbo needs to be free. That's it. Yes, he called it Jumbo. He was the president that would make people have press meetings, like where like your cabinet has to like go like these people need this thing. These people need this thing. Have his entire cabinet meet him at his bathroom door, and as he was like taking a powerful shit, just talk to people. And I think he had a special shower built in that was like, you know, when protesters get hit with those power sprays, that was like the low key equivalent to what he had in his shower, because he was like, that was my way to getting ready for the battle of the day. Like, he was a terrible man, but he got shit done. He was been quoted as saying that he slept with more women on purpose than Kennedy slept with on accident. He once got into a woman's bed and said, "Scoot over, honey, this is the president of the United States." So this is why I like history, because something is terribly wrong with most of our presidents.
Well, yeah.
Oh yeah. There's a great book that you can actually read about it. I just finished it.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
called How to Fight Presidents by
Yes.
Daniel O'Brien, and it is hilarious. It's like a 2-hour read. Because it's written like a set of cracked articles, so it's super duper fast
Okay.
reading.
Yeah. There's one president that I'm like, I don't know. Sounds like he might have been a little bi-curious, and I can't remember which one it is. There's one president that
Was that Buchanan?
there was one president that before dinner he liked going upstairs into the attic and riding a bronking bull
Really?
for like an hour and a half, and then like coming down and be like, all right, I'm ready to eat. And I'm like, I feel like
Worked
you
up
were,
an appetite.
I don't think you were riding it so much as you were beating, but all right, that's fine.
I mean, that's my pre-dinner ritual. So.
Just to masturbate furiously before you eat. Like, I'm gonna tear up that steak.
I mean, let's face it. That's my pre-everything ritual.
It really can't. I just got through having a conversation with a friend of mine like a week ago about like, have you ever been late to work because you were too busy masturbating?
Yeah.
Like, that's sad. It's a sad point in your life. Or if you just get angry that you're masturbating and your body just doesn't want any part of it. That's also been a conversation. Where it's like, yeah, I'm doing it, and your body's like, I don't want any of this. You're like,
I have nothing left to give.
I don't want it.
I really I really wish we were live streaming this, like we have video feed.
So people are like, are they just talking about masturbating for 3 minutes? Jesus.
Like this is another goals thing.
Yeah.
Of live streaming it so
Yeah.
people can just hear hilarious.
Billy just wants to live stream because it's his responsibility to edit down. And Billy spent all of last night editing the Kesha episode. So
You did a Kesha episode?
We did.
with Liz.
Nice.
And since they work at the Rape Crisis Center,
Got you.
yeah, they were really great.
Yeah, that was probably our most legitimate podcast so far.
So far, yeah.
This is probably going to be our funniest though.
Yeah, probably.
I'm calling it. of the 3 we've done before this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying really, really silly shit. I'm trying to think. So wait, how did you spend? You just like randomly spent time in Chicago? I'm sorry, I'm like stuck in Chicago.
Okay. So my job,
It's an awesome place. I'm sorry.
like,
I'm sorry.
because I'm pretty intensely political on here. Like, I'm not gonna like completely plug it. But I work in amusement parks.
Gotcha.
So the thing about like working in an amusement park as opposed to like a Walmart,
Yeah.
like if you're if you want to go from assistant manager to a manager of a Walmart, and like that like person who's in charge of that Walmart isn't gonna leave. Great, we're building a Walmart down the street. You can be manager of that. That don't work for amusement parks.
Gotcha.
It's we have a space for you, but it's in South Carolina. Want to go? We'll pay you a little more. Okay, sure, why not?
Not.
So I did that like 4 times in the last 5 years.
Got you.
So I lived here. I lived in Charlotte. I lived in around Philly, but not anywhere close to Philly, actually. Lehigh Valley, technically. And I lived in Forest Park, a suburb of Chicago.
I was like, I personally would never left Charlotte. I just really like North Carolina.
Oh my gosh, Charlotte is great. I shouldn't have left Charlotte. It's beautiful.
Like, I mean, I did, last year I did a road trip from Columbus to Savannah, Georgia. And, like, North Carolina, like, the Carolinas are always super nice. And I almost died in South Carolina because we were, like, super tired. We had just, like, driven 11 hours straight. No, I felt my body, like, leave. I wasn't behind the wheel. And so I just pulled on the side of the road. I'm like, you gotta drive because I'm gonna kill everybody. And I had tried, because I had mixed pop with Red Bull.
Oh, God.
Like 5 hours earlier.
Yep.
And then listened to Alicia Keys' live MTV Unplugged album the entire time.
I love that album.
This love is unbreakable. Oh, how long do we have to go? Son of a bitch. Like, just doing that. And my girlfriend is crying now. Laughing. But anyway, I already know I like the Carolinas, but I knew I felt like at home at the South. And I was stopped in South Carolina at a gas station to get more like Red Bull. And a woman was smoking, like the cashier was smoking outside. Mm-hmm. And I got my stuff and I got to the counter and she like hurried up and put her cigarette out and ran, was like, how can I help you? And I'm like, oh ma'am, you have to, interrupt your smoke break for me. And she's like, no, it's okay, boo. Is that all you want? And I'm like, you just call me boo. Can we be friends? Like, I'm super excited about it. And that whole trip was weird because I think at one point when I finally gave up driving, I went to sleep and my best friend was driving. And initially they were trying to find some like tourist trap thing. Yeah. And initially drove to a burnt down Motel 6.
Oh, I love it.
I woke up to just a burnt down hotel and I was like, we're gonna die in a horror movie. And then I like passed back out. And then I woke up to like just seeing trees. Like we just kept passing trees. I'm like, where the fuck are we? And I went to sleep some more. And they were like, Sarah, you should like get up. And I woke up and we were facing a plantation. Yeah. And I was like, what's happening? And they were like, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do before the hotel is ready for us. And I'm like, I won't be in this plantation though. They're like, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, I don't want to go. They're like, come on, we'll go inside the plantation house. I'm like, we were both black. This is not good at all. I feel like this is going to be majorly triggering for my ancestors that live within me. And I went in, and there was just me and them that were black, and everybody else was white. And they're like, oh, this is an interesting house. And I'm like, fuck this house. Fuck this house. I hope someone burned this house, tried to burn this house down. Fuck this house. But we found whatever we needed to find. And I wind up, I knew it was going to be a good week of just exploring the South when we were like, all right, to waste time, we'll just chill at the beach. And you have to have, like, singles. You couldn't pay for parking with, like, a card. Oh. And I had loose money on me. And some, like, rich, like, we had the beach was in a rich, affluent neighborhood, like, slightly gated neighborhood. Like, a lot of the condominiums were behind a gate. You had to have a gate code and all that shit.
My word.
Right. So I paid for our time, and then I was, like, walking past, and some, like, rich white dude was like, hey, do you have change for a 10? And I was like, I'm sorry, do you have change for a 20? And I said, all I have is, like, 5 cents. Oh, that'll be enough. And he just gave me $20. And I was like,
that's nice.
Yeah! Let's ask other white people if they need change. All I have is a penny. Do you want to just give me $8? That's cool.
Weren't you telling me that Savannah is like hella gay? It's like very queer.
It's queer and regal. And you feel like you're entering a movie set.
Wow.
That's the best way I can describe it. Like, it's so just like genteel and everything. And I was trying to figure it out. And then when I did a tour, the gentleman that was giving us the tour said, yes, please understand that in Savannah. And I'm like, why don't more cities have this? In Savannah, they have a rule. I think it's like in the charter or whatever. You can build shit in Savannah if there's open land. Yeah. If there's an old ass building there that's been there since 1872, you got to build within or somehow around it. You can't destroy any of their like architecture.
I think that's great.
That's awesome.
So you would just like happen to see like a food line and it would be near like a regal ass building and be like, I feel really so
put the food line in the regal ass building. Come on.
They're like I would never go to like art school, but They have an art academy there. And
Savannah College of Art and Design.
Yes, and Savannah College of Art and Design is not only beautiful, but they built like modern art inside of old buildings.
Oh, that's cool.
So we wanted to do the tour, and they were like, "It's $35." We're like, "We'll do it virtually because fuck you." Not doing that. I'm not getting up at 8 a.m. to pay you $35. But they built like modern art inside of like a building. I think they said it was from the early 1800s. And then I kind of wanted to go to the school after we were doing the virtual tour, and they're like, "This is our student center." They said, "Look, notice these pods," and they're like these little egg-shaped things, and then like the pods open. They're like, "These are our napping centers." I'm like, "This place has napping
Centers.
Man, I
was like, I picked the wrong school. I want to just go to a school to nap.
I've started the application process to go to grad school at Savannah at least 3 times.
Nice.
And I've never finished it because that's always the time of year when somebody calls me up and is like, "Hey, do you want to move to Charlotte?" And I'm like, "Damn it, yes." I can't afford to go to grad school. But oh my gosh, that place, like,
they have an open carry. That's all I'm saying. They have open carry alcohol.
Oh, wow.
oh wow.
I didn't know until like I was like I went to like their gay bar, and no offense, it was just like full of white gay dudes, and I was like, "This is not for me, like at all."
Yeah.
So we were about to leave, and I had like the blackest drink ever, cranberry and Grey Goose, and I was like rushing to drink, and I was like, "Fuck, we gotta go outside." And then the bartender was like, "Oh, honey, well, this is an open carry. Go ahead, just take the liquor." And I'm like,
Take the liquor.
and I'm like, I'm just like walking outside drinking it like a toddler with my face mostly in.
I really hope the sound of you dragging that off of the table just picked up really well on the microphone.
It's fine. I'm just gonna drink all of this. And I was like in front of police officers drinking. I'm like, this is a weird experience. And I think that was the night that we got drunk. Somehow managed to drive back to the hotel. And my that's how I was like, I already considered them my best friend. But my friend, I was like, well, we just got to ultra friend status. We somehow got drunk, got back to our hotel. Our hotel had a shitty little pool, and it had a hot tub. So we were like, we're just gonna use the hot tub. But it was like late. Right? Fucking awesome.
For those of you who can't tell what's going on here because this is all sound, Billy just took a bite of the cornbread muffin, and
Amazing.
it's apparently fucking amazing.
Like it's what dreams are made of. But
You're silly.
Oh, that was really good.
right?
That's it. I'm changing
Thanks,
the
Michelle.
format of the podcast. We're just going to review cornbread.
No, I'll give you the story about people believing that my girlfriend's a wizard in a minute. And now she's covering her face. But we were like weirded because we were both trans, so we were like, oh, we want to be around straight people, and like so we're like, it'll just be me and you. It's like the pool area or whatever closes at like midnight, and it's like 10:30. Nobody's there. Let's just go down. So we wind up just being like silly in the pool, like in the jacuzzi, and then at one point it was like getting close to them about to close, so then we decided to race each other inside of a jacuzzi. Because we were that drunk. We're like, I'm gonna catch you. And we're just running in place, giggling, because that's what friends do. And yeah, no, it was a weird random ass day. Because I think that was the day before we saw the most depressing tour, and then took a nap for like 3 hours.
What was the most depressing tour?
The African American History of Savannah tour.
Oh, that sounds like a very depressing tour.
It's like, it was amazing, but then there was like, it was like highs and lows. It was like, that's crazy. And then like, now I'm sad again. Like,
Yeah.
Basically what happened was we got to the hotel, and I had been looking while we were like riding up, like places to go. And of course, everybody and their grandmother's like, you have to visit.
Hey guys, Billy from the future here. It is time once again for our mic cutout interlude. Just a couple of quick notes this time. First of all, 4 String Brewing Company sucks. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Just wanted to let you know that we are not currently releasing our podcasts in chronological order. So if we refer to anything in the past, odds are you're probably going to hear it eventually. The African dream route that Sarah refers to in a few minutes is called Selene Capacis, or
white paths. It is sacred to the Joa people, and it's known to produce very vivid dreams, and some say, visions of the past. In its preparation instructions, Azarius.net suggests to use the recommended amounts only. Larger amounts have a purgative action. However, there are no fatalities or harmful side effects reported, only a good vomiting and cleansing out of the stomach. So yeah, that sounds great. If you're listening before March 5th, 2016 in the Columbus area, please check out the Coalition of Immokalee Workers' Wendy's protest and concert. I've put a link in the description with more info. And finally, if you want advice from the Basement Debasement crew, hit us up on Twitter at basedebasement or by email at basementdebasement@gmail.com. All right, we're going to be getting back to our regularly scheduled program now. Hope you guys enjoy. Take 2.
You should always visit Mothers and Sons. And I was like, considering the prehistory of Mothers and Sons, I'd rather not. Mothers and Sons is the restaurant owned by Paula Deen.
Oh.
Where she literally has a black woman, I think that she named, like, Jelly Roll or some shit.
Wait, she named her?
She gave her a nickname of Jelly Roll or some shit. And some old black woman that, like, stands out and greets people. And I'm like, no, because I love myself. And no. No. You called me nigger. You called my whole people nigger. So I'm good. I'm good for like a while, Paula Deen. So I'm like trying to figure out where I want to go. All the little tourist traps are like visit. Even though I'm very proud to be a Girl Scout, they were like visit the founder of the Girl Scouts, and I'm like, I feel like nah. That's not good enough. So I'm looking, and I can't make a decision. And the woman that is behind the desk was a black woman. She was like, "Oh, girl, you looking for places?" And I'm like, yeah. And she was like, "Oh, girl, here. Go here, then go here, and then go here." So I'm like, "Are you giving me like the black?" She was like, "Yeah, I got you." And I'm like, "This is why I like being of color." All right, cool. So we went to a place called Sisters of the New South, which was like a new version of like soul food. And it was inappropriate how delicious the food was. There's a piece of cornbread that was like the size of like a cat head, like just a round brick of. And I hadn't eaten any like actual food. I've been eating bullshit the entire time. So we basically ate like we had just come from the war. Like we just ate everything, and we're like, "Did they say that red velvet? Put it in the bag." So we ate, went to the tour. The tour was awesome in parts. Like we visited some church that they think they don't want to investigate it because they don't want to mess up the foundation of the church. The church had been built in the 1800s by slaves. Basically, Savannah was a slave territory, but they were like a nice slave territory, as that they would beat and try to murder you Monday through Saturday, and then you got Sunday off to either, I guess, rest your whip wounds or to go to church. So slaves would like, well, I'm still in bondage, but I'm going to build this church so we have somewhere to chill. But they believe the underneath is possibly part of the Underground Railroad.
Oh, wow.
So that kind of stuff was kind of cool, but then it would get really depressing because he took us to a place. I almost said a place. A place that we had recently just passed, like the night before, me and my best friend. Where we wondered, like, what are those places? But he was like, this is where they held people. And there used to be a giant door, and we're like, And before that, he took us to, like, a cemetery where, I guess there was, like, a notable slave that assisted a Confederate soldier. And he was like, everybody come on out. And I felt bad because it was like 10 people, 12 people. And out of that 12 or 10, there's 2 white people, just a white couple. So then as soon as real shit started, he started talking about real shit. Just you see the white people just eyes glance down. Like, oh, we made a mistake. Mistakes were made. I'm like, hey, you paid to see real life roots, the story. This is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But he had us come out of the bus, and there was like this giant tree. It was a beautiful tree. And he was like, this here is a whipping tree. And I'm like, motherfucker. And he was like, see these marks? These would be where the whip didn't make contact. They'd wrap someone's arms around it. I'm like, all right. well, I'm gonna be in and around my feelings for the rest of this fucking tour. And my best friend was like, "It's gonna be all right." I'm like, "Fuck it, no, fuck it. It's not going to be all right. Like, this is not good." And then he was like giving an explanation for like, I guess slaves picked last names based on their favorite presidents, so that's why so many black people. I don't know if this is possibly true. I can't figure out how to like verify, but why so many black people have the last name of Washington and Jefferson, and then I like the tour guide was really salty in parts. He was like, and mind you, slaves picked Washington, Jefferson, names like that. Notice no one picked Lincoln. Notice no one picked Lincoln. So what I'm telling you is, like, he would just start saying things like that, and then he was talking about how some people would put an E on the end of their name to symbolize that they were free of some sort. And he was like, so some slaves just kept the last name. And I'm like, well, I have relatives here. We don't have it. And my last name doesn't have an E on the end of it. Did we just not get free or something like that? Did we just like chill until they made us leave? And my friends were like, yeah, they probably left. They probably left. That's fine. But no, Savannah was incredible. It was amazing. We went to Florida. Going to Florida was like going to like a GTA level. I felt like I was in Grand Theft Auto in some parts. We went to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Where like Jacksonville gets a lot of visits from Cops, the series.
Bad boys.
We're in Jacksonville yet again. And this man is trying to fight a gator with a skillet, like that kind of thing. But no, I say I felt like I was in a Grand Theft Auto thing because there were so many signs for lawyers.
Okay.
There were so many billboards for lawyers. And there's one dude, it looked like a promo for Better Call Saul. It didn't look real. And then I had my best friend drive up on it, and I'm like, it's real.
This is a real attorney.
Like, and there was one dude, and he was like, I'm the lawyer that rides the bike. And like, he had a motorcycle. He was like straddling a motorcycle.
Oh my gosh.
And he was like, yeah, call me for your injuries. And I'm like, all right. This is fucking weird. So the next big plan is this year we're gonna try to go to New Orleans, which will probably be
That'll be fun.
That sounds like fun.
it's gonna be a shit show.
Yeah.
Because we're going to the Voodoo Museum. It's gonna get real
Right.
silly really quickly. I'm gonna drink a hand grenade and probably leave her weird Facebook messages. Just pictures of minions, like
Oh, Jesus.
And she doesn't want it. She doesn't want it.
Like, the best part about it right now is for you, for those of you at home or in your car listening, is Michelle, when this was all going on, is just rocking back and forth on the exercise ball that we make our guests sit on, looking away. Like she'd been very
Face buried
seriously
in hands.
traumatized.
No. I mean, I don't think I've had too many conversations with her while drunk. But usually she's like, "Okay, somebody's drunk. I will talk to you later because you're drunk." And yeah, bye.
That's accurate.
But I think she's only seen me like in person drunk. I think twice, and I know once was my birthday, and then I wasn't drunk anymore because this cues into Michelle being a wizard.
Yeah.
She was like, "Oh right, we'll just like spend the evening, we'll like hang out with your friends, and then we'll spend the evening together." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And I'm like, "Damn, I'm really hungry." And she was like, "Oh, I forgot to tell you, I brought meatball subs." And I'm like, "Well, this is what I'm talking about."
Yeah, don't let that go.
Right.
Basically, the amount of things that she can do is hilarious because then it's like, so I'm not gonna go anywhere. Like you basically, like we live together, you'd have to set the house on fire for me to leave. She makes food and then she knits and she can sing a little bit.
Ooh.
So I'm like, you sang Jeff Buckley to me and gave me a sandwich.
Oh.
I'm gonna be here for a while. I'm gonna listen to Jeff Buckley on Spotify and be in my feelings now.
I love Jeff Buckley.
That's what his music is for.
Mm-hmm.
Being in your
Feelings. Yeah, it's a lot of just
Contemplating your own mortality.
and quiet howls and moans. But yeah, I'm trying to think of weird stories. Oh, did you want me to tell the story about saving my own life?
Yeah, let's do it.
with a fucking Jolly Rancher.
Oh, this is good. She told us this before we got started taping.
I was a kid. My mom left me alone in a car. I was eating a Jolly Rancher.
You're 6.
6 or 7. And I felt the Jolly Rancher lock into my throat.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, well, gonna die. And I had like a concept of like what death was. So I was like, all right, this is probably it, because grandma died. So I know that death is like a thing. It's fine.
Poor Michelle.
This is what she gets to deal with.
Sarah.
This is what I get
6
to,
years old.
and I know what death is. Yes, because my mom was like,
Like, this is it.
because it took my mom like years to mourn my grandmother's death, but I was like, I'm like struggling to breathe. So I remember she drove a stick shift, and so it was sticking out, and I just threw myself onto it, and the Jolly Rancher flew out of my mouth, and I caught it. And then like I wiped my eyes because I was like tearing up, I was like struggling. And then I continued to eat the same Jolly Rancher, just like chill. And then just decided not to tell my mom until I was like 15 or 16. Like, there's several times where I died, and I'm just gonna sprinkle these over the period of me being a teenager.
No, can we talk about how resourceful you were at 6
6.
or 7?
But this is the same 6 or 7-year-old that this is what happens when you have an only child. At least on one side of your family. I learned to trap my own farts at 8 or 9. Because this is what happens when you're like, your mom has to do like adult stuff around the house, and then you're just alone with like your Ninja Turtles, and you have like an empty orange juice bottle. I'm like, I bet I could trap a fart. Yep, I locked a fart. Cool. All right.
I was an only child and I wasn't nearly that resourceful. I was like, I'm going to build a time machine. What are time machines made out of? Probably buckets. And then I stood outside for an hour waiting to go back in time. And then I just got really mad at my time machine and drop-kicked it down a hill.
Well, I mean, I also did silly things like I had an elaborate storyline with my Barbies.
Okay.
And my mom used to call it, when I became older, she was like, yeah, you playing with your dolls and that whole interspecies erotica. And I was like, the fuck is interspecies erotica? She was like, because you had things that ain't supposed to be with each other, Sarah. I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, you had Barbie dating Alf, the hand puppet, and you know that babies ain't gonna be right. And I'm like, you're being ridiculous. But I think I've recently, now that I'm an adult, tried to write down the storyline.
Yeah.
And then I wrote it down, and I just realized how majorly a shit show it was.
Of course.
Like, I had a thing of where there was 4 brothers. Was it 4? No, 3 brothers. And there was, like, the older, sexy one that I made my genie doll. And then there was the 2 brothers that were black Ken dolls. The youngest one, like, had, like, a little bit of a fade. Yeah. And he was, like, reckless. And I don't even know what the fuck reckless meant. So, and then the studious middle brother. And 2 out of the 3 brothers fell for the same one black Barbie. So then there's a storyline of them, like, like battling for their love. And she spends the night with both of them. I don't know what that means.
Get it, girl.
I feel like I smell like a real Tumblr effect coming up.
No, and then my mom would play with me, and then she had her own Barbie.
Okay.
She had her own, like, specialized. It wasn't a Barbie. It was like some other company was like, black girls need to play with black dolls. So they made their own, but it was just like Barbie, but a little bit different. And she had it so that Barbie was, like, talking to the genie doll. That's how I remember it. But yeah, it was just like a mess. Yeah, something's kind of wrong with me. But at one point, I decided to introduce like some evil substance into the storyline.
Evil substance?
Yeah, like, I don't know if I was trying to think of it as steroids or something, but basically what I did was take Play-Doh and put water in it and made like a sludge.
Ew.
And then like the the reckless brother had like got hooked on it. So every time they found him, he was like covered in it. And, like, you know, I felt and like, it's whatever, it's fine. I can play baseball. It's fine. Because all 3 of the brothers were athletes. They're all like super athletes. And because I didn't have a video game thing for many years after, I played baseball with like a little bat that like they gave away at like the White Sox stadium, and I had like a ball, and then I would like physically play baseball. It was like ridiculous. Looking upon it, like wow, Sarah, you literally had no friends to play anything with. But yeah, so I did things like that, being an only child, of just like making up weird storylines.
Because that's all you get. Like, you don't have people to beat you up. Like,
I didn't have anybody.
Joys of siblings.
Well, I have siblings. I have half siblings, but I only saw them during the summer. And whenever we saw each other, it was like the opposite of when you're with the same person that has your DNA, you occasionally, because Michelle talks about like me and my brother fighting each other, and I'm like,
no, it was productive.
Yeah,
Productive.
I would agree.
She learned how to defend ourselves.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
I got to be a tough bitch because my younger brother was bigger than me.
Yeah.
And I had to learn how to beat his ass.
see, no, because we were just like so excited to see each other.
So excited to not be alone.
Right.
It's like, oh my gosh, something that I can play with.
Yeah,
Just
because
going sad. Like, oh.
well, no, I mean, because I think the first time I met my siblings, I was like 7 or 8, and it was my dad made it hella awkward. He decided to bring me to my dad's from a small town in Georgia, took me to the small town. Everybody was like, oh my God, your baby or whatever. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. I'm meeting relatives. My dad is 1 out of 18 children.
Oh,
so I met a lot of just random black people, just like, I'm your aunt so-and-so. And I'm like, I'm not going to remember this.
Should I be taking notes?
They always expect you to remember though.
Nah. The only way I know is I can tell by like facial features. I'm like, relative. What's up, relative? But he took me to this random house, and my mom had already explained to me, you have half siblings. Your dad was like married to some lady, and things didn't work out. And then he
Some lady. Just some lady.
no, she was like, gave me her name, and I'm like, I don't fucking care. I'm 7. And she was like, you have half siblings, and these are them or whatever. She showed me like pictures, and I'm like, okay. So then took me to a random house, and then my dad like talked to his ex-wife, sat me on the couch, and then 3 other little black children sat across from me, and then we were just like just stared at each other. And then my dad was like, well, now this is Sarah, this is your half sister, and Sarah, this is your siblings. Y'all go ahead and play or whatever. Like, my dad is hella awkward. Aggressive, wrong, and awkward all at the same time. And I remember my brother and my middle sister just kind of stared at me, and my older sister was like, cool! And then just like grabbed me by my wrist and just took me in a room, was like, I have dolls, let's play! And I'm like, this is weird, we just met each other.
Yeah.
We just met each other.
Did you ever find yourself wanting siblings and then realizing that you didn't? Like,
Oh no, my siblings are like hellaciously mean to each other.
oh yeah.
They're not mean to me because they don't get to see me very often, but they're mean to each other occasionally, up into adulthood. It took a long time from adulthood for them not to be mean to each other. Like, my brother had an issue of where he couldn't keep his penis to himself for a very long period of time.
Wow.
So he had a lot of children, and expanding my family's. Basically, my family could probably be a football dynasty at this point. There's a lot of us for no reason. And my sister made friends with one of his baby's mothers. And they became really good friends. And my brother, I guess, didn't like this girl. So then I got a random call, and I'm like 22 years old. Get a random call from my sister. It was like, Sarah, Jeremiah's being an asshole. You need to hear tell daddy what he's telling your sister. And I'm like, what's happening? It was like, listen. And then I guess I was in like a 3-way of like both my sisters on either ear. And I'm like, what happened? And they're like, play this. And so she played her home thing, and it was like, leave a message, beep. And it was just my brother going, you bitches, y'all ain't gonna be talking to this bitch like she ain't no motherfucking bitch. Like, it's just that for like 3 minutes. And I'm like, all right, I guess I'll call daddy, I guess, and tell him that he's calling y'all bitches, and then the person that he fathered a whole entire person with, also a bitch, I guess. I don't know. Like, I'm still trying to figure out me shit.
Yeah.
I've got my own problems.
Right, I'm I just had my first girlfriend. I have a lot of shit to deal with that is not y'all. But no, having siblings for a short period of time is awesome.
Yeah.
And then leaving them is amazing.
I remember when I was a kid, I'd always be like, Mom, Dad, I want a brother. And they're like, well, we'll see what we can do about that. I want an older brother. Oh, okay. And then I'd go over to my best friend's house, and his older brother would hit him in the balls so hard with a Coke can that we thought he was going to be sterile. And I'd come back home and be like, no, wait, I'm good, Mom. I'm good, Mom and Dad.
It's so funny because, so I'm the oldest of
Right.
4 kids, kind of spread out between different marriages and relationships.
Gotcha.
And 5. I have 4 siblings. Yes.
Damn.
Who
Yeah.
did you forget?
The one that's dead.
Ooh, okay.
Oh, no.
No, it's okay. It's,
This is what I meant. It keeps going.
Don't hug him.
Oh, no. You want some corn muffin? I'm so
I'm
sorry.
doing all right. It's all right. No, but when I was younger, I had a best friend who was a youngest child and had a brother who was like significantly older. He was like 16 and we were like 11, 10 or 11. And we got tormented by my friend's older brother all the time. And I'm like, I'm so glad that I'm the oldest. And I can just go to my room and like shut the door and that's it. And nobody's going to bust in and beat my ass, throw me in the pool.
Well, I mean, I had 2 cousins that I always count as like technically my siblings, and I would spend my summers. That makes me sound like I'm like some rich kid. I spend my summers in Columbus.
I summered.
I summered in Columbus. It's fine. But summering with them was always a hot mess because they were basically siblings, and my one sibling kind of was that situation of where we would be like 8 or 9 and she had to be like maybe 14, 15 years old. And she was always mostly chill. But her brother, who they adopted when I think I was like around 2, was the biggest dick. Like he was great, but there would just be a certain point, there'd be like a tipping point where he would just be like, you know what? I'm gonna put my asshole hat on. And then he would just he would just ride
That was
that.
going a different way. Ooh.
What, I'm gonna put my hat on and be an
No,
asshole?
because before you said the hat part, it's like, please no. And then you said hat.
I'm gonna put my asshole to be
Okay.
continued.
No, I say he was an asshole. Like he figured out one of our other cousins was scared of the vacuum cleaner, so he would wait and chill in his room and wait till she had to like go to the bathroom and then run out of his room with the vacuum cleaner. And she was like, "Oh my god!" Like because there were two sibling cousins that we had. One that was scared of the vacuum cleaner and one that we hated. We hated that girl until she was in her teens. I just fucking hated her. The reason why we hated her as children, that sounds terrible, and I feel like you'd be like, we need to have a conversation about your hatred for the baby. No, the reason why we hated her is because we were children and her mom wasn't super awesome. So what would happen is she was a whiner, kind of. Like, and I don't mean like serious things happen and she was upset, like non-serious things would happen and she would like bug out. Like one time we were at a cookout and we're just like, it's just the family. So we're in our own bubble. There was a dog 180 yards away. She cried for an hour and a half because there was a dog. She's like, oh my God, a dog. And we're like, we hate you. Get away. Like, we're just that. Or she would like bug out during cookouts for no reason. Like she would just be really upset. And like nobody is trained to be like fucking Dr. Phil or anybody knows gonna be like, what's going on? What's really upsetting you? So someone would just drag her into a bedroom and close the door, and then we would just hear her getting more and more tired from crying. So we'd be like, ah, somebody! And then like 20 minutes later, ah, somebody! And then she'd just pass out from crying.
That was my brother, my younger brother. He was
You
bipolar.
trust me to raise kids now? Because this is what's happening. No, I wouldn't just put my kid in a room.
Okay.
While they're crying.
I mean, sometimes you gotta do shit. And there's a crying kid. And you just gotta put them somewhere where they won't hurt themselves or others.
When my brother and I would be beating each other up, and she's like, she got to a point where she's like, You know what? Just shoved us in our room, closed the doors, like just beat each other up.
You guys work it out yourselves. Yeah.
I'm over this. I'm so over children that I willingly had. No, I mean my dad would do weird shit. Like Michelle's always like weirded out when I tell her that as a kid I was my dad's helper for his illegal side job as a handyman when I was a child. Because he was not bonded or insured for shit, but people, mostly women. So I'm thinking like he was also probably getting a little bit also. Because it was almost always women. It was always some like lonely housewife situation.
Wow.
No, my dad was.
Your dad was a gigolo?
It's kind of why my mom had to leave. Like we lived in, like I was born here in Ohio, but then my mom's like, you just can't keep your dick to yourself, so I'm gonna go. I'm just gonna go. Like,
nothing like living the premise to a porno.
No, I definitely remember, and I can't remember. I guess until I have a thing that I really want to at some point take. If I'm ever offered it and it's in a safe area, I said I would be okay taking. I can't remember what it's called. It's technically a route that you can take in Brazil, and when you take it, it can make you relive like past memories.
Oh.
And I thought it would be cool for like spiritual cleansing and stuff.
Ooh.
But sad part, one of the side effects of is that you just like puke for a period of time.
Yeah.
You just like you see shit, then there's puking, and then like revelations. So
And more puking.
yeah, and then you just are tired, and then you have like a nap, and then you're fine. And because the first time I explained that to Michelle, she was like, "Fuck all of that. I don't want. I would be for the napping, but I don't want to.
I don't like vomiting.
I don't like vomiting either.
Nobody likes vomiting. That's the point of vomiting.
Yeah.
Nobody's like, haven't vomited in a while,
I mean, one person is like, haven't vomited in a while.
and
But...
that person needs counseling. That person needs immediate counseling.
Yeah.
all right, so we're getting pretty close
Towards
on
the
time.
end?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we like to do, just to keep consistency up, we like to give back to our audience and give some advice. But as we said before, our first podcast just went up today, so we don't actually have an audience to give advice to yet. But hopefully we will. So the last guest that I had, I like to give this option. You can do a Dear Abby or Dear Google.
Oh, you have to Google?
Dear Google
I
is where
recommend Dear Google.
Dear Google is where I ask Google a question and it autofills it. So what I'm gonna do, the question we're gonna do today is why do I have to, and then we're gonna do B for Brad and Billy, and then we're gonna do S for Sarah. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So B, well, that's D. B. Why do I have to be so ugly?
Are y'all answering that question?
I
feel like
Everybody answers the question. I mean, you gotta blame your parents, I guess, for being ugly to begin with, and then deciding to have sex with each other and make a baby.
Whoever you are,
You're
not ugly.
Oh, well, we're gonna take it that route. Okay.
I'm gonna take it that route. You guys can take it however you want.
no.
Somebody has to be
Clearly,
the
Brad
nice
was
person.
like, "You're ugly. Deal with it."
I mean, sometimes you gotta deal with it.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I ever say someone's like ugly. I will say that in my travels of Chicago, there are some hideous people. Internally, just really ugly. Like, my word, you're just wow. If dog shit had a baby, that would be the inside of your body right now.
Baby dog shit.
That's
Little baby dog shit.
yeah. I mean,
Little
I guess if you're ugly on the outside, then maybe you're not ugly on the outside.
Maybe you're not.
But if you're ugly on the inside, get your shit together. Though one of my ex-girlfriend's moms used to say, pretty on the inside's nice, but don't get you drinks in bars.
Oh my god! I'm happy you broke up with that girl. Jesus.
The girl that I was dating was really nice, but her mom,
Was not so nice.
at times...
I have met a twofer though. I'll tell you that later.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Someone that was not visually okay, and then the inside was just like, oh.
Oh, I've been plenty of those.
Oh, no.
Yeah. There are plenty of those
No,
people.
it was. Does anybody know who Beetlejuice is?
Yeah.
Not the character. The
No.
entertainer.
No.
There's a That's technically he would be seen as like a little person that does stuff for Howard Stern,
Okay.
and he has pronounced front teeth, and he's just has a lot of situations going on with his face, like he has bug eyes. And there was a dude that had that face, but he was 6'2", and he was trying to talk to me, and I was like, no. And then I was like, no, thank you, but no. And he was like, fuck you, bitch, fuck you. And then like got off the bus, and I was like, I'm glad I made that call. But go ahead with Dear Google. With the next Dear Google. Because
the S is why do I have to say okay Google? And that's just, I don't know, that's because Google's dumb and it makes you say dumb stuff. So we're gonna go with M for Michelle.
Hey.
Why do I have to make my bed?
You don't. I never, ever, ever do.
I refuse to make my bed, especially after they proved that that's a good way to avoid bed bugs.
Oh.
Yeah.
So I never will.
Billy, why
trying
do you
to-
make
but
your bed?
I'm trying to, like,
Yes.
it's a weird thing for me. I'm a slob. I do not keep things nice. I do not keep things clean. I'm trying to, like, I just moved back here. I had a really shitty 2 years in Forest Park where I used to live. So, like, for me, it's just like a mental health thing. Like, just like, something to do to, like, ground me to the day and, like, remind me to take care of my shit.
Okay.
So that's why I do it. Plus,
she just got-
I do find it's a little comfier when I get into bed.
Yeah.
And all the blankets are where they're supposed to be. I don't have to like put half of a blanket over one leg and like half of a blanket over the other leg, and then, like cover the top half of my body up with one of my pillows.
I've gone to sleep like that. I mean,
Yeah.
drunk, but I've gone to sleep like that. Or I've gone to sleep where I was just too drunk to try to figure out how to get in the bed. Like, to get, like, through the sheets.
Just
And
like
then,
how?
Oh, yeah. What just ends up happening when that's the case for me is I just shoes on, pants on, lay directly on top of everything, figure it out in the morning.
I've gone to bed where there was enough there's, like, enough pillow accoutrements that I just covered my body in that. And then it was like, alright, well, fuck it, I'm going to bed now. I mean, I've had these kind of things. Remember, I'm the person that directed their exit after they puked into a bucket. Like, I was already drunk, and they started puking just on the floor, and then I was like, get into the bucket. I like passed out. So that is an hour, my bad. Do you want to keep going? Because I feel like it's an hour.
An hour is perfect. We'll go ahead and start wrapping up.
Yeah.
So first of all, if you're sick of listening to us answer these Dear Google questions, ask us some questions.
Yeah.
We have social media now. You can do that.
We're on everything.
We're on everything. On Twitter, we are Base Debasement. So you can ask us your questions at Base Debasement. We'll answer them. We'll probably literally answer every question because I'm guessing there's not that many of you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is our 4th episode. We could be blowing up by now, but
I doubt it.
and if you have a particularly long question, you can submit it to us at our Gmail account, basementdebasement@gmail.com. So yeah, follow us on all the social media. We've even got a Facebook. We even are in 2008 now.
Do you have a Tumblr where you just show like porn and cats?
Brad's gonna have to be in charge of the Tumblr. The Tumblr.
We don't have a Tumblr yet.
Keep up
and
with.
It would
we
just
may
show
never.
porn and cats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I look at on my Tumblr.
Yeah, it's literally like, oh, this is nice. Ooh, cool black hair. Up, someone's getting drilled.
Yep.
Cool. Like it's that on repeat.
Like,
Problem.
I pretty much only use my Tumblr to follow Magic the Gathering posts, like the nerd that I am. Like I don't like reposts. Like I feel like if you're taking the time to do a Tumblr, I don't want to see all the shit you grab from everywhere else. Like that's what Facebook's
It's supposed to be
I like
like,
it for resources though.
Yeah.
Just like, oh look, this is a lot of self-care stuff. Thank you.
Fun fact: this person reads fanfic.
word.
Oh, that's fine. That's cool.
Because I don't
I like
read.
that this is included in the wrap up. Fanfic.
Because I find it fascinating. Because I would just get mad like after a while. Because some people are just shitty writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta
People are
find the
shitty
good
writers
ones.
And they actually publish them.
Yeah.
Sad.
Stephanie Myers. Boom.
What is the E.L. James, the fucking 50 Shades of Grey?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That started out as a Twilight
Yeah.
fanfic.
Well,
She had to change
Twilight
the
started
name
out
from Edward
from
Cullen
some
and
silly
Bella in
dream,
it.
though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like she just had like a really silly, just like, oh, that was a dream. Let's make it into vampire.
But-
Right.
Like,
But
one
there's some fanfics out there that are legitimately good. There are some that are almost better than the like source material.
Depending.
True. Where it's like, let's just fix everything wrong.
Yeah.
What they did.
Well, the thing
Or they're
about
like-
television is that they don't wrap things up in a nice way ever.
Right. Yeah.
It's like there's always loose ends and it's always shitty, and their writers are coming and going, and they are not checking their facts. So
Right.
I hate a plot hole.
I do one of my favorite shows. They pretty much wrapped up everything pretty well.
Which one's that?
6 Feet Under.
6 Feet
They
Under?
did.
They wrapped up everything, and
they
I
did.
may or may not have like cried like a tiny
I did too.
tiny girl.
Same.
Well, mostly because I can't take Sia's voice, and then her singing "Breathe Me" like just sends me into an emotional
I feel
spiral.
it. Yeah.
And basically it's
Just go back to the early 2000s. Like,
well, it's like it was like a storm. Like I had just broken up with my first girlfriend, and then the whole ending of 6 Feet Under is just about death.
Yeah.
And then you just hear just in between people dying, you just hear Sia going and breathe me, like just crying, ugly crying.
Anyway, back to the wrap up.
Back to the
Right,
wrap.
Jesus.
All right, so that's been our show for today.
Oh wait, a plug. We have a plug.
We do have a plug. That we would like to thank Sarah and Michelle for being on our show today. Sarah, do you have anything to plug?
March 5th, there's a concert for Farm Work Justice at 8 p.m. on the Summit on the 16th. And that following Sunday at 12:30, there's actual march. Farm Workers for Justice is trying to make Wendy's sign like, we can't treat you like shit, just so we can give you tomatoes. And Wendy's won't sign it.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Of course not.
No, because Wendy's is shitty. I mean,
They are
I'm
shitty.
gonna still eat there because I'm poor, but they are pretty shitty.
Word.
All right, so yeah, Farm Workers March 5th.
March 5th, yes.
Yeah, show up to that. If this comes out after March 5th, show up to the thing the next Sunday.
What we could do potentially?
We can move.
We
this
can
one
switch
up.
this one with Robin's because Robin is not time sensitive.
Yeah, so this is officially episode 2 now
Yes.
of our 4-episode podcast series so far.
Which reminds me, I gotta guzzle this Raz wheat.
Michelle, do you have anything you want to plug?
no, did you say what time?
The thingies are,
Yeah.
or I can just throw my phone on the floor. That's equally helpful.
Also,
Because
if you
that's
want
how
to-
mad we are at Wendy's right now.
Saturday is 8 p.m. For the concert, and Sunday is 12:30 for the march.
And we'll link this up in the
We'll put a link
Annotations. I'll
in
send you a
the
link.
annotations and the doobly-doo.
and the doobly doo. Yes. Oubliette.
So yeah, that was our show. I hope you guys liked it. We're gonna go out today on "Breathe Me" by Sia. Yeah.
You just want me
and
in a
have a great
motion
night
tizzy.
or morning or afternoon. I can't control when you listen to this.
Have a great time.
Have a great time. Bye bye.
Bye.
Unfold me, I am small.